Libra, welcome to your August reading. Thank you for watching. This is just a reminder that if you really like the reading, I'd really love it if you like, subscribed, commented, did all the YouTube things to help the channel grow. I am really enjoying doing this, and it's become such a really dope hobby and passion in my life. So with that being said, Libra, let's see what you have in store for the month of August. All right, so we're going to start off with a cut of the deck to see what we have at the bottom as a focus card. All right, you have the Chariot. Right? So the Chariot is a card of victory. The Chariot is about you taking control of your life. The Chariot is about you choosing yourself, leaving behind everything that you need to leave behind because it's not serving you anymore, right? So you can see in the card here, he's on his chariot. His home is behind him and he's leaving things behind, right? He doesn't know where he's going, but he's choosing himself. This is definitely a card of choosing yourself, which is the most important thing that we can do. So think about how you are choosing yourself this month, Libra. How are you going to head in new directions? What are you leaving behind? What are you leaving completely behind, right? Is this a person? Is it people? Is it a job? Is it certain situations? Like, what are you leaving behind where you are going to choose yourself? All right, so we're going to get it going. We got a 5-card spread. Let's see what comes up for you here, Libra. Your first card is the Ace of Cups. Second card is the Moon. Third card is the Ace of Swords, 2 aces. Fourth card is the Queen of Wands. And the fifth card is the 5 of Swords. All right, so you start off with the Ace of Cups, which is great, right? The Ace of Cups is about emotional fulfillment. The Ace of Cups is about you filling your own cup. The Ace of Cups is a card of abundance. It's about knowing that you can easily dip your cup back into the water when you need to. So with the Moon coming up against it, it's definitely giving the vibe that, you know, there's some confusion in your emotions right now. There's some darkness that's clouding your emotions right now. But for you to start off with the Ace of Cups, you need to think about what are you doing to keep yourself fulfilled, right? And all facets, right? The work that you're doing on your own and yourself, the hobbies and passions that you have, spending time with your friends. What are you doing to love yourself more with this Ace of Cups? And if you're feeling empty, what can you do to start filling your cup, right? So, I mean, the most important thing that we can do is understand that we need to fill our own needs. We need to fulfill ourselves, right? We need to provide that emotional stability for ourselves in our lives. So that's, what you're definitely getting off of that Ace of Cups for sure. And then you have the Moon, right? So the Moon is about darkness, confusion, shadows, hidden things inside of yourself, right? I mean, it sounds like a lot of negative things, but it's a really powerful place for you to tap into your emotions. So with this Ace of Cups and the Moon coming up right next to it, the reading is already saying that you need to dive into hidden feelings that you have. You need to dive into the parts of yourself that maybe you've been neglecting with this Moon card. Right? One thing about the Moon that definitely stands out in the reading here, there's this lobster, right? And so the lobster definitely represents emotional armor, right? The Moon is Cancer. The Moon is our emotions. We definitely need armor sometimes. We definitely need to have emotional armor sometimes, but emotional armor keeps us from being truly vulnerable, right? And this lobster needs to go on this path, and then that path is the fool's journey. So it's like the reading so far is saying that you will have fulfillment emotionally if you take a journey into yourself and your emotions with this Moon card. So however that resonates for you. And then once you do that, you are going to have the Ace of Swords, which is a card of victory. It's a card of focus. It's a card of being able to gain mental clarity once you are able to process these emotions. So this is seeming like it's going to be an emotional month, right? So it's like, I feel for me personally, right, like doing emotional work, doing that self-work, doing that self-healing, it can be exhausting. We tend to put it off, right? People who live in their shadows, especially with that moon card showing up. So if you feel like your emotions are in the shadows right now, you are preventing yourself from claiming this victory here with the Ace of Swords, right? So once you dive into these hidden feelings, these feelings in your shadow, these feelings that are deep, deep, deep inside of you, right? Maybe these are like really old wounds that you need to dive into. It's going to be a victory for you. And then, this card is very straightforward, right? The way to do that is with the Queen of Wands, right? The Queen of Wands is bold and assertive energy, right? She is learning how to truly master bold and assertive energy. And the way that she does that, you can see here, she has this sunflower, which is pointed towards the sun, and she is looking towards the sun, right? So that represents looking towards the light inside of you, shining a light on those hidden emotions that are in darkness with the moon, right? Being bold, being courageous, tapping into our emotions is one of the hardest things that we can do. And it's scary, right? Because a lot of hidden feelings are very scary sometimes, and they're trapped in these places where we push them down inside of ourselves. So the Queen of Wands is saying that you need to really take bold and assertive action, right? In order for you to dive into these emotions this month. And your last card in the first spread is the Five of Swords. So this is winning at all costs. This is saying that you need to do this, that if you don't do this month, Libra, if you're not tapping into your emotions, if you are not really, really being bold and assertive and brave with yourself and diving into your emotions, you will not be victorious, right? The Five of Swords, you can see here, like he's walking away victorious in this battle. He did anything that he needed to do to defeat his enemies. So that's definitely coming up with the Queen of Wands, right? You need to be bold with the internal battles that you have. You need to do what it takes. It hurts, right? War is hard. War is pain. War can be death. War is risk. War requires bravery. So do what you need to do in order for you to tap into these hidden feelings that you have going on in this month here, Libra. All right. So your first card is the Ace of Cups. To clarify the Ace of Cups, we got the Knight of Swords, right? So once you fill your cup, excuse me, once you fill your cup, once you're tapping into these emotions, once you're really recognizing your emotional fulfillment and how you fulfill yourselves, new energy is going to come rushing in with this Knight of Swords, right? This could be love. This is a love combination, right? The Ace of Cups could be your heart overflowing from love. So if you are in a love situation, if you're looking for love, tapping into your emotions is going to help that process of you hopefully finding love, and love might come rushing in for you. If you're already in a connection, right? The way for you to speed your connection to higher levels is for you to tap into your emotions. And then once you do that, that Knight of Swords will come through. All right, so with the moon, you have the Seven of Pentacles. So this is a card of assessment. This is a card of, and this is a tough card to have with the moon, right? Because the Seven of Pentacles, he's grown these pentacles and he's asking himself, is it worth it, right? And if it's not, right? So if you have it with the moon, you have to dive into parts of yourself, dive into emotions. And then sometimes you're going to have to ask yourself, is it worth it for me to dive into these emotions, right? Some people, the moment that they start diving into parts of themselves that are painful, they stop, right? Or they'll look at something else. So it's like the Seven of Pentacles is saying that you need to work on diving into your emotions. You need to work on diving into, the hidden parts of yourself with the moon here. And, maybe sometimes it's not going to be worth it to dive into certain feelings, dive into certain memories, into certain wounds. But it's definitely saying that you have to put in the work. And even if you feel like it's not worth it, because that's a big message from the Seven of Pentacles, if you feel like it's not worth it to dive into your feelings and your work here, Libra, then, call it a day, do it another time, see how you feel, trust your body, right? But, it's saying that once you do this, you're going to come up against the Seven of Pentacles, which, is a card of assessment. So don't get too trapped in analyzing your feelings. Don't get too trapped in that, and things will work out. All right. Ace of Swords is your third card. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Eight of Swords, right? So this is a card of putting up unnecessary boundaries, right? You can see here on the card, like she has this wall of swords up to protect herself. She has the blindfold on because she wants to trust her intuition. And, you know, she's protecting herself with these swords. It reminds me again of that emotional armor that we were talking about on that lobster card with the moon here, right? But the key to the Eight of Swords is certain boundaries that we put in our lives. We have to question if they're necessary, right? In order for you to get the victory of the Ace of Swords, what you need to do with the Eight of Swords is take your blindfold off and see that there are other ways of doing things. So that's the thing that you need to consider in order for you to get that victory with the Ace of Swords. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Page of Swords. This is a card of curiosity, right? So Queen of Wands, Page of Swords, you need to study some things, right? Like, you know, if this is about your emotions, it's about things that you're processing. You know, it's a very emotional reading, right? Like not all readings are this emotional, but it's definitely calling for you to start tapping into your feelings. Bold and assertive energy, be courageous, tapping into your feelings. And then Page of Swords is a card of study. It's a card of learning, right? It's a card of curiosity. So maybe you find, you know, videos on YouTube, find therapists on there who can help you process what you're processing. Like it's saying that you need to study right now. And this is a reading about your emotions. So you need to study your feelings this month. And if you don't, that's challenging, right? The further we push our feelings down, the harder life becomes. So definitely find some things that you can learn as far as processing goes this month. And then your last card with the Five of Swords is the Emperor, right? So look at this as an outcome card, right? If you do this, if you do what it takes, if you do whatever it takes for you to win this battle, right? You will become a boss. You will boss up with the Emperor. You will, you know, you will reach new heights once you process this thing. The awesome thing about the Emperor is that he has his armor underneath his robe, which means he's always ready to go, right? So you have the Queen of Wands, which is bold and assertive energy. The Emperor is the card of bold and assertive boss energy, right? So tap into those parts of yourself here, Libra, where you can boss up your emotions, all right? Yo, have a good month. Good luck. If you like the video, please watch the playlist. I'll be adding some more to it in the future. Thank you for watching. And if you got this far, please hit that subscribe button at the bottom. I don't know which corner it's on, but thank you for watching. Have a good month, Libra. Peace.